Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about having success in your business through people development and how important it is to develop the people in your organization. And I'm going to talk about some of the key things that you can do that'll help you develop your team faster so that you can build a culture within a team of people very quickly. I'm going to be talking about this from the perspective of, if you are an employer and you have a group of people that work for you, if you are perhaps a network marketer or in a recruitment-based business and you're building a team, if you have like a membership site and you're bringing a culture of people together, all of these things would be applicable, to any of those situations. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. How do you build a group of people up to be successful, and how do you use people development particularly to do that? So let's get started today. And I think the first thing that we need to talk about when we're talking about people development is if you're going to lead any group of people at all, even whether it be your family, you're the mom, you're the dad in the family, one of the best things that you can do when you're talking about people development and developing the kids around you, developing the people in business around you, I think one of the best investments of your time is, first of all, develop you, me. I develop me first. And I hope that that's your game plan as well, because I know we all have people in our lives that we want to change. We would like to say, hey, they need to change this and this and this about themselves. And I can clearly see that that's their problem. But, it's a lot easier, first of all, to change me. I'm the one that I have the most control over in life. And one of the things about life is that you don't have a lot of control over other people. Okay. And leaders that lead through example tend to inspire a following to come along with them. And whether that means that you're the mom or the father in a house, or whether you are an employer, or whether you're building a large recruitment-based business and you're putting a team together, or if you've got a membership subscription-based site, or if you're just trying to get lots of customers to come along and flow with you and grow with you, whatever you're trying to build, your success in business is often linked to how you communicate and develop teams. And the best way of doing that is through people development. So as I have said, the first thing that you want to do is work on you, because our personal development is it's like the biggest journey we'll ever undertake. It's huge, it's long, it takes, it's quite a winding path, but it's really 6 inches. It's the journey of 6 inches. We have to get through this. First thing is that I might not be perfect. Oh my God, really? Yeah. Okay. I might not actually know everything there is to know. Okay. And we all have to come to that realization that I am not the end all and be all of everybody's life around me. And I cannot control what they do, but I can sure control me. So I'm going to work on me. So how do I personally develop myself? Well, first of all, I think a lot about what am I reading? Where am I spending my time? What kind of people do I hang around? What kind of meetings do I attend? Do I invest in things that help me to self-improve? Do I just buy courses that are all about the tech thing that I need to know? Or do I also invest in courses or in, different, communities where I can participate, where I can become a better me? Because every time I invest in me, that's the best investment I could make. That's money in the bank. I've learned that over the years. The more I invest in me, the better it is. Now, I know I meet people and they say, well, I don't know what you're talking about, Kara. I spend a lot of time working on me. So I have a little challenge for you. This is a little exercise I've been doing for years. I like to actually track how much time I'm investing in myself. And I like to keep that number nice and high. So how do I track my investment time in me? I actually pay attention to things like how many hours. In fact, I make 2 columns, or I take 2 pages and I break down all the time that I spend watching television on one page and listening to the radio, watching YouTube videos that are not self-improvement videos. Okay. How much time do I spend doing that? How much time do I spend watching Netflix? And I total it all up. I'll keep track of that, like for a week when I'm doing an analysis of where I'm spending my time. And I'll realize, oh my goodness, like it actually totaled up to quite a few hours. I like to read the news, and some people will say, well, the news, I mean, that's keeping you up to date. Okay. No, the news is nothing positive on there, like ever. Okay. You can't put that into the I'm improving myself column. That's sucking up your brain, and it's time that you will never get back. And it's usually stuff that makes you worry and think about things that you have zero control over. So that definitely lands in the negative pile. Okay. And then there's other stuff too, like books that I have to study for work, training that I have to do for work. You might have to do that to improve yourself, but it really is not the kind of stuff that is really an investment into your overall attitude and building more character into you. So it also needs to go on that page. And when you start totaling up all the hours that you spend in a week on that page, I think you will be very surprised to see the number of hours that actually grow in a week. It's a lot. I know just even things like watching Netflix and watching television and keeping up on the news, it can easily be 20, 30 hours a week that we spend on stuff like this. And we're not really thinking about what is that doing. It's sowing, a lot of it's sowing garbage in, garbage out. So it's affecting our attitude. Some of it might not be negative, like the work manuals and things that we might have to do for work. That's not necessarily negative. It's building a base of knowledge within us that we use in our profession, but it isn't actually feeding out positive energy afterwards either. It's kind of neutral. And that's why I say that needs to stay in that pile, because it's definitely, if you were looking at your life like you are here I have a water bottle here. Let's say that this water bottle was right full of water, and I was trying to fill it up with all positive stuff. The fact is that life comes along and it's kind of like there's this little hole in the bottom and it just keeps dripping out. And the natural parts of life, things that happen, an argument with your spouse, a conversation that went sour with your mother, you just had to sit at too many red lights today. Okay, this is causing a drip in the bottom of the bottle, and you got to keep putting in the positive stuff, because if you don't, the bottle gets empty. And when you're operating on an empty bottle and you're trying to build a team and create success in your business through other people being developed, but your bottle is empty, that has a real effect on your life. Okay. So you got to put more positive in than you do negative or neutral. Okay. Because neutral just takes up space. It doesn't actually build any character or bring you any, sustaining joy or energy. It's just neutral. Okay. It's just kind of, it made it plug the hole a little bit for a second for a little leak, but eventually it just pushes through and it keeps leaking. Leak, 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 leak. That's what life is all about. It's just the stuff that's just coming against us continuously in a natural wear and tear of life. And I think in today's world, there's even extra stuff. I mean, with all of the things that's happened since March 2020, there's extra stuff. It's like our hole in the bottle got a little bit bigger and deeper, and the amount of negative that comes at us, oh my God, it's just like intense. So you really got to work on yourself, and I work on me. So on my other category, on my other page, I write down things like, okay, how many hours did I actually read a book that filled me up? Things like Think and Grow Rich, things like The Law of Success, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Greatest Salesman in the World, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These are books that fill you up, okay? They give you some energy and excitement and put the pep back into your step, right? How many hours did I actually watch videos that were self-help videos or affirmation videos, right? Things that you do spiritually. If you meditate or if you go to church, you pray, these things fill you up. They make you feel good. So if you spend, if you're the kind of person who spends half an hour in church and thinks that writes off all the negative you do in a week, good luck with that. If you do like 2-3 hours in church on Sunday, then that's starting to fill that up, right? And whatever you do, maybe some of you go to synagogue and some of you go to the mosque, but it fills you up. It makes you feel good. It's like that energy is connecting. Whatever it is that you do spiritually, often you have a burst of energy and you feel good afterwards, right? So that goes in a positive pile for most of that stuff that you would be doing. And then there's things like, okay, you're watching videos. Maybe, if you're watching a documentary and it's not filling you up, again, it's in the pile over here that is either the negative or it's just taking up space. It's not actually pushing you ahead. Okay. The stuff that goes into the positive pile, something like singing might make you feel, overjoyed and filled up. Okay. Particularly if you sing regularly in a choir or you sing, you go out and karaoke on Friday nights and you belt it out for 2 hours. But that singing is very spiritual. It connects you to the people around you. And it makes people who sing tend to get a positive energy and a vibe from it. So I like to actually measure that out. And sometimes I look at what's on my positive page. And I go, oh my goodness. Didn't do so hot in that department this week because I let life get in the way. And I didn't actually put much into my cup. And no wonder I'm feeling tired and depleted. And I don't really have a lot of, energy to help other people because I'm feeling kind of sucked out and dry myself, right? So that's why it's so important to feed yourself first so that you have positive energy to give out to other people. And you also can be a really tremendous leader if you are filling yourself up with positivity. You're refilling the wisdom station up here, okay? So that you can continuously give out to other people. I had someone ask me the other day, Carrie, where do you think of all this stuff to do videos on? Well, I read 70 books a year. Yep. You heard me. Isn't that something? I read a lot. So I'm always feeding myself with really good stuff. And I have books in my house. I have them everywhere. I got one in the bathroom that I'm reading. That's got the short list, one of those ones you can just read a little bit at a time, right? I've got a book that is on my kitchen table that I start out my day with. Sometimes I read the Bible because I feel it fills me up, makes me feel good. Sometimes I am reading, and I always make sure too that I'm reading more of the positive stuff. I don't just read magazine articles that are just filling up time. I like stuff that's inspirational, that gives me life, gives me joy, teaches me things, shows me how to be a more positive person that is giving back into the universe and into my community. And as I do that, I never run out of things to talk about. I never run out of wisdom to impart. I feel good. I also recover a lot faster from any illness. Just because positive people, it's really hard to get negative stuff to stick to us, right? So lots of filling that up really, really works out. And that's step one. Once I'm working on me and I'm moving ahead with what I'm going on, I got to tell you, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world is doing. I feel good. Okay. Sometimes I hear terrible situations, horrible stories, floods, disasters, pandemics, all this stuff. You know what? I feel good because I'm filling me up, and I spend more time filling me up than I do listening to all that negative trash. And I have a discernment to know when I am hearing negative, and I just go, click, shut that off, go do something else. Let's go pay attention to something that is positive and uplifting and that helps people and moves people forward. So that's number one. If you're working on you, that's a good foundation. Okay. You got lots to pour out for other people. Now, how do you help other people along in their journey? Well, if you're actually reading good books and following good, people on YouTube and watching programming like that or listening to podcasts, then it's easy for you to tell others about what you have heard. You can say, hey, I watch Carrie George every day and she helps me grow my business. Yay! Subscribe to CIBN TV on YouTube and you can watch her too. Yeah, that'd be a great thing to tell them. Okay. So, but you find people that you're in tune with and you're like, yeah, I follow this one. I listen to this. I do it too. I have people that I listen to And I've had people I've listened to for years. I love people like Tony Robbins. I love books by Og Mandino, and I'm Bob Berg. I love Bob Berg, So these are people that I would recommend to others because I follow them myself, and I have lots of stuff like that I can impart to them. But what about just in daily practice and just communicating with everyone and keeping everybody kind of on the same page? So I'm going to give you a couple of tools here that I have found incredibly useful in the last few years that maybe didn't exist before then, things that we didn't use before. Lots of people are using podcasts. And of course, you see me on YouTube, on CIBN TV. And right now, this is broadcasting as well all over Facebook and into the Women Entrepreneurs Network group, which is a very large group on Facebook. And these are places where people can actually go and start living with and building communities and having success development happening within these communities. And that's possible. But here's another one. If I were actually working with a group of people and we are going in the same direction together, maybe they're recruits that I'm working with, that I'm recruiting into my network marketing business. Maybe they are people that are, my employees that are working for my company, because I do this for my employees. Maybe they're affiliates that I'm getting to actually move my products to my companies. I have affiliates in my company, CIBN Connect. So what do I do to bring these people together and help them through people development? One of the things that I like to do that's a very effective thing these days is I create a Facebook group that's a private group for that group of people only. The ones that have said, yes, I'm on board for this, right? And if I were in a network marketing company and I was building Carrie's team, it would be Carrie's whatever network marketing company team, and I would bring them together like that. When I'm working with employees, it says CIBN team members. If I'm doing affiliates, it's CIBN affiliates. Whatever it is, I create these groups for them that are special private groups. And then what I do in that side of that group is I feed information into there that all the people that are on board with that can see. And it's a great way of training people. It's a great way of bringing them together. Most people use Facebook these days. So it's a really excellent method of, I can post things on the wall that only those people can see. I can encourage them to interact with it. I can create guides on Facebook groups. And I can actually, if I want them to go through a process of something maybe that they learn right away so that they're all on the same page, I can actually go create guides and I can download documents or videos to the guides. And I can say, hey, when you join this team, when you come into this group of people and we're working on this project together, first of all, go to the guides and work your way through the guides. And oftentimes I'll have anywhere from 1 to 7 guides in there with directions on what to do next. And that is marvelous because when your newbie joins the team, they take a lot of time, your personal time, to go talk to them and train them and help them to begin their personal development journey. And maybe you don't have time to do that, right? Or the more people you're working with, the harder it becomes. So you need ways of setting up communication, and the communication has to be consumable. It has to be a way that they can actually get it. And you have to keep in mind that not everybody consumes information in the same way, okay? Some people like it audibly. They like to listen to the sound of your voice. And this is why I do videos, because the videos that I do, many of them, you could just turn them on and listen. You could be cleaning your kitchen. You could be driving your car. You just be listening along, as I'm talking. And podcasts are great for that. And that's how some people like to consume their information, is through audible. You want to hear it, right? And then there's the visual component. Some people like to watch, and that's, again, the videos help with that. The Facebook groups help with that because they like to see the bright posts. They like to see all the emojis. They like to see me actually moving and talking and colorful background on the wall. I like to pick places that I'm actually doing this stuff where people, might like the background. So even in the summertime when I'm out, I do something in front of nice places and quiet spots where you can see nice scenery behind me. Right now, this quilt here, this quilt is a beautiful, beautiful quilt. Look at the intricacy and the work in this. Look at that. So this was my dad's wife, Linda, did this quilt. And she was a beautiful soul. She passed about a year and a half ago now. And I love doing lives in front of this. I feel like it honors Linda, and it looks so beautiful. And so many people comment on it. They'll comment. They think that they knew I was a pastor, so they think this church has something to do with me. But it does. It was Linda's. This was Linda's baby here. And actually, if you look down here, this actually, the general store, it's like a community. The general store says Linda's General Store on it. Cool, eh? Anyway, I just love it. And she was originally from Nova Scotia. So look at it. It's got the lighthouse up here. And it's got houses, like a little community, and boats. It's beautiful. But I love to stand in front of it because it's brilliant and bright. And it also feeds the need of the people who like to watch, because they like seeing things that are colorful and bright. And for those people who are visual, they really like this kind of stuff. And I have found that they listen more, they pay attention more if you feed that visual aspect for them. And that's one of the reasons why I do videos, because some people like it visual, some people like it audible, and that helps both of them. Now, what do you do with the people who want it to be tangible, the people who want to touch things? Oh, that's a little harder online, right? But I tell you, the Facebook group is one of those things that actually helps with that, because they can post, they can touch the keys on their computer, and they can interact back and forth. So it feeds even the people that are more, I think it's kinesthetic. Is that the word? Kinetic? I can't. You know what I'm talking about. People who like to touch things, okay? And by the way, you don't have to be perfect to do this, as you will see if you watch me. I'm not perfect. Okay? But this is what happens. People, if you're trying to help them to grow, you have to feed them the things that they need in a way that they can actually receive it, okay? And I know sometimes it's hard, because we'll try to talk to people in the way that we are most comfortable, right? I will try to talk to you in the way that I'm most comfortable, because that's me. It's my way. And you have that too. But here's the thing. Not everybody is like me. Not everybody is like you. And just because you like something or don't like something doesn't mean that's how other people feel about it. And I'll give you another great example, which is another huge communication tool that I use when I'm building teams of people and helping them grow through personal development. I use email. And when somebody, for instance, they join CIBN Connect, my company, and they join for networking, then they're going to get a series of from our email that tells them, well, now that you joined our community, welcome, and here's the things that you get. And I'm very careful not to give them too many things in that first message, because it overwhelms them. People leave membership sites if they become overwhelmed. So I actually give them just a few things, and I tell them, and tomorrow I'm going to tell you how to do this. And then the next day they get something else, and it says, and 2 days from now, I'm going to tell you how to do this. And I lead them kind of on a tour through all the things that they got by joining our community for the networking. We also have mastermind groups. The mastermind groups get more things, different things, special things. They're part of mastermind brainstorming strategy sessions. So if they join that group, the messaging is different. It's not the same. It's a different series. It says, hello, welcome to the mastermind group. And it says, you get these things. And again, we're careful not to tell them 25 things that they get, because they do get like a lot. We don't want to overwhelm them. So we say, here's a few of the things that might be important to you right away. This is how you access them. This is how you set this up. If you have any problem, you're going to contact Ted Grove, who is in charge of helping people with customer service problems. And by the way, he's going to be calling you in the next 24 hours to set up a time with you. And you see, so we have an onboarding process, but it's rolled out, and we use email. Now, I have people who say to me, I don't like email. I don't want to send people email. Okay, that's one of these situations where you need to get over yourself, okay? Because maybe I don't like email, but it doesn't matter. The world runs on email, okay? And there may be a few people who also don't like email, like I don't like email. But the reality is most people are used to getting email. And when they have bought something, they expect that certain things are going to be delivered to them. And you have to find the best ways to deliver it. Okay? And you can say, well, I'll set up a text system. Great. Go ahead. But not everybody uses text. Most people use email. So it's the best one for the majority of people. Now, sometimes in today's world, and I could do a whole video on this, it's hard sometimes to get the email into the inbox because there's been these meddling by governments is really what it is, where they have messed with our ability to communicate back and forth with one another, and they put it under the guise of protecting you from spam, which is baloney, okay? Because spam never stopped coming to your inbox, did it? Okay. And usually it doesn't come from your country, it comes from elsewhere, and it stacks up in there like crazy. But the reality is, what they have done to us is they've made it hard for us sometimes for me to send messaging over to you, even when you said that you want it. So some of those first messages that we send, they're very plain. They have no pictures because they're less likely to come in, land in your inbox. They'll go to junk if they have pictures. Or they might not, your server might actually just even shut it down and not allow it to come at all if we put pictures or videos or bit.ly links. You know, there's a bunch of things that we avoid. That first message just says, hi, so glad that you joined the network. You're going to get more information, but right now I need you to click on this button or click on this big, ugly, nasty link with no pictures in my ugly email, because if you don't train your system to actually accept messaging from me, you won't get any more. I know, sad but true, right? That's a real thing that's happening in the world right now. And as I'm working in the world to try to help people with their people development, I often got to start out with a message like that, or they won't get any of our stuff. And then when they get the follow-up phone call from head office and we'll say, did you get this or that? They'll go, nope, you didn't send me nothing. We'll say, well, yeah, okay, let's go check junk. Let's check all mail. Let's check spam. Oftentimes it's found in one of those places and they just didn't know it was coming. Sometimes it actually didn't even get there at all because the powers that be didn't let it show up. And I don't even know all the monkey business behind the scenes that are causing that, but I know it's real. And you, when you're trying to communicate with your customers, with your teams, with the people that you're trying to develop, this techie stuff is some of the stuff along the way you got to figure out, because otherwise you won't know why your team isn't getting your communication. These days, I see teams now moving to other apps and other tools as well. WhatsApp is one that many teams are using. It's connected with Facebook, which has pros and cons, as I'm sure many of you are aware of. Again, that's another whole subject I will not digress into. But some people don't like some of the implications of Facebook. So some people are now moving to things like Telegram, where they're building all of their teams and all their communications into the Telegram app. That has benefits as people are posting and new information is going down in the feed. It actually is pretty good for communication. What it's not good for, that I have found, is storing the information that you want people to be able to go back to over and over and over again. So for instance, if I had a people development group that I'm working on, could be any number of things. I know, for example, I run a free masterminds on Saturdays, which is all about growing multiple streams of income. Okay. So I'll have this multiple streams of income thing going on, and I got a little team of people there. Maybe I want them to know some of the meetings we've had in the past, and I want to actually store the video sessions, the Zoom meetings of what we've talked in the past. Telegram won't let me actually line that up where you can see previous meetings. So I do still prefer the Facebook group idea, because it will let me do that. It'll let me actually download them into that Facebook group. And when you're into that private group, you can actually click on the button and where it says media, and then it will say videos, and you can see all the videos. But there is another challenge with that technical tool on Facebook. And that is, at this point, they haven't allowed us to actually do something to the video where one will stand out different from the other, especially if it's a Zoom recording. They all look the same. They all have the multiple screens of people. So it's hard to tell like which one you did on what Saturday and maybe what the topic was, because the people, they all look the same back there. So they kind of run in an order from the lowest one on the poll there being the first one that ever happened. But other than that, it's hard to tell them apart. So I've learned a few hacks about that. A couple things you can do with that. Like one of them is, well, instead of using a Zoom meeting, do it live and use StreamYard. And then you can actually that's why I put all the titles on the bottoms of my videos, because on things like Facebook in the groups, and as well as on YouTube, people can actually tell what I'm talking about just because it's on the bottom of the screen. And when you're doing people development, they kind of like to know when you talked about that book. They want to know when you covered that subject on making better habits, or maybe affirmations, or whatever it is. You need something that identifies one video from the other if you're storing those videos. So these are some of the things that I've learned over time. There's another thing you can do on Zoom that is quite useful for this. You create a screen that puts the title behind you. And they still have to click on the video to see what the video title is, but they can tell by looking at your window because it's written behind you. So that's another hack that I have figured out that helps you identify one of your videos from another video. So when you're working with people and you're helping them with their personal development, these are some of the things that you can do where you can store the information, you can tell them the books that are great and so on. But why would you want to do that? I guess I never covered why. Why would you bother? Well, your success usually in life is based off of how many other people you lead to success. It's true. It's true. If you want to make a lot of money, you need to help other people usually make a lot of money. If you're selling something, then you got to make somebody happy through the use of the thing that you're selling. Like if I made teddy bears and I was selling teddy bears and I want the world to buy my teddy bears, well, then they would have to be delightful and soft and cuddly and make people want to buy one and make people want to buy another one for their friend and make them want to have, 3 for each one of their kids, So the success that I'm selling in that case is that the feeling of warmth and stuff as they have around the teddy bear. But I'm imparting something into whatever I'm selling, right? So if I'm building a team of people, and if I'm in a recruitment-based business, maybe I'm with an insurance company, or maybe I'm in a network marketing company, or I'm part of an affiliate team that's building affiliates, the best way for me to have success is to help other people get to a place of success. And they become far more successful if I invest time and energy into their personal development. So that's why, it's profitable to help other people become profitable. And if you really want to make a lot of money, you need to duplicate your own efforts. So you have to create systems where people can access that kind of information and use it over and over and over again. And that's where things like the email sends come in, that kind of train the culture of the group that you're trying to create, or the Facebook private groups where you're putting the stuff in there and then filling up the guides with things for them to walk through so that they start to pick up the culture of whatever it is that you're trying to impart to them. And, a place where they can see the list of books that, recommended book list can be in the documents section there in the Facebook group. So these are things that would help you to gain that success through people development. For years I studied multi-level marketing organizations and how they grew and developed. And they're quite fascinating. I know there's still some people I run into, they go, oh my God, that's a pyramid. Okay, the government is a pyramid. Okay, there's only one guy on the top. Get over that. Okay, pyramids are very successful. They're on the dollar bill. Hello in the U.S. Okay, so multi-level works because it's a team going together. Okay, people working together. And if you watch how some of the most successful multi-level companies have grown over the last 30, 40, 50 years, what you will see is that they have weekly meetings. Okay, they actually, people who do them well have daily tasks. Then they go to weekly meetings. Then they have a monthly team meeting, and they have a quarterly large gathering where they bring the whole culture together. We can learn from that. Okay, if you're trying to build a team of people in anything that you're doing, and you're trying to impart people development into them, think about that model. What can you do with them that creates daily tasks, daily activities? What can you do with them to bring them together in a hub once a week? Because that builds community, right? What can you do with them on a monthly basis where you can have like a team gathering or team meeting where the maybe outer line ones get together? They had their weekly meeting over here and one over here, and then you all come together for a monthly, and then you have a bigger event that goes on 3 or 4 times a year that actually it's a huge thing. And I want to tell you something, like my company, CIBN Connect, is not a network marketing company. It's kind of like a privately owned chamber of commerce where businesses connect and they network together. But I've used that model because it's very, very successful. So members have their daily things that they do in their own businesses and their own daily growth, their own personal development. And we have stuff that helps them with that on our sites at thecibn.com. We have that. But then we have meetings that happen where a member will say, I'm going to go belong to the US-wide group or the Canada-wide group or this group that's for my area, and I'm going to go there every week. And they go to get leads and referrals from each other and to give to that organization. They do their presentations there, they grow their business there, and that's their weekly meeting. And most of them have one weekly meeting. They have opportunities. They can go to other ones if they want to. They can do as much networking as they want with the membership with CIBN. But for most people, they have time constraints and they can't just keep going and going and going to everything, right? So they go once a week. And then there are people, or we have another meeting once a month. It's like a team meeting. It's actually a networking mixer where the entire organization of all those groups that are going on all over the place, all across the US, all across Canada, the worldwide ones, everything, they all get together for a monthly mixer. And often in the mixer, we even invite somebody else's organization to come, and we have a fun night. And again, lots of networking going on because that's the theme of my business, right? And then every quarter or so, we have a big event, something like a summit. It might be a learning thing. I know in June every year we do the Ultimate Networking Weekend, where it's like a weekend training things and lots of activity and networking going on. So, but why do we do that? We modeled it after a successful model that brings people together, right? So even if you don't like that industry, you can learn from that industry, okay? And these are things that cause people to be successful. So all together, working together, learning things from each other, we become more successful faster. And we're able to impart that success to others as we do things with them and as we kind of put things together for their success so that they can capitalize it off at any time. I would encourage you to learn more from us and follow me on CIBN TV on the YouTube channel. That's a free place where you can get lots of great information on things like marketing and mentoring and social media, and you can learn things about masterminds and how to do these things. It's all on our YouTube channel at CIBN TV. Please subscribe and ring the bell so you know when things are going on there. If you want to find out more about my organization, you can find it at thecibn.com, and you can go there and find out about when our membership portal is open, or you can join the waiting list so that you can get involved the next time that the portal is open. We have some free perks and really great things for people who join the waiting list. So, it's a great benefit for you to do that because you get to come to some things for free and you get to promote yourself. in different ways that don't cost you money. So, I mean, that's also a really good one. You find it at the CIBN.com. If you just go click on one of the membership buttons, the waiting list will pop right up there for you. You can join the waiting list from there. And so those are some things that we have for you. And if you want to learn more from us, just reach out and ask us what you'd like to know. What would you like to see us do a video on? Would love to hear that too. You can also send an email to kgeorge@cibnconnect.com. And we'll be happy to do a video, maybe covering one of the subject matters that matters to you. So happy capitalism. Have a great week. And we'll be talking to you again soon. Happy